is open at 1860 West Mason Street in Green Bay. You're invited to indulge in one of life's simplest pleasures, a great burger. They're grilling up 15 fresh, signature burgers and have over 30 craft beers for the perfect pairing. Experience Wisconsin's best flavors, including white cheddar cheese curds, a variety of specialty sandwiches, milkshakes, and gourmet frozen custard. Burger House 41 at 1860 West Mason is open at 11 a.m. daily. Taste Wisconsin. Taste amazing.
Hey, Phil.
Hey, Ron.
Would you like to experience being one of the free people who produce their own meat and eggs?
You ever heard the song "Bitchin' Camaro" by the Dead Milkmen?
It starts
out like that. It's like, hey man, want to go down to the shore? What's the shore? The shore is this place where they don't charge you so you can drink when you're still in high school. Great. Well, should we go down there? And there's this narrative, and then it ends up with this song, like a quick punk song, and the kids driving over the lawn and throwing in random lyrics. So that's what the introduction to that read for Purely Poultry reminded me of. Please continue, though.
Okay, so imagine you're driving your car over some random
Camaro?
whatever. Yeah, Camaro.
And I won't get caught because
Right.
I'm the mayor's kid.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly. You're the mayor's kid who has a desire to buy some kind of poultry. You know, I mean,
probably to shoot.
Yeah.
Of all the options listed in this read, watching him on a pond is great. That's beautiful. Eating them, fantastic.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
I'm guessing that the folks in the Dead Milkmen, who I'm giving we're not getting paid to promote the Dead Milkmen right here. Although maybe we should. I don't know. I don't even know if they're still. I don't know if they're still around. But let's say if I'm in the Dead Milkmen and I'm driving the bitchin' Camaro over my neighbor's lawn, I'm probably thinking about shooting the poultry, not so much about eating or pets or ponds.
Well, how about this? How about you consider purelypoultry.com, because they have the chicken and supplies you need to raise poultry.
Yeah.
Would you like pets who produce their own eggs you can barter with?
Or I can throw them at people's houses, right?
Absolutely.
Those eggs will. That'd be awesome.
Absolutely. How about a swan on your pond to make your home look more attractive? Or how about some pheasants and quail in your woods to shoot or just enjoy?
Shoot and enjoy the shooting. That's what I'm for.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Cook them up a little bit. Who knows?
Yeah.
If so, check out purelypoultry.com.
6%? 7%? That's a lot of money. I might as well just do it myself. Well, that might be true, if a lot of that money you're paying a real estate broker is going toward outdated methods, unnecessary fancy offices, and overpaying executives for a lifetime of service. But you don't need to go that route. Silver Compass Realty is a full-service real estate brokerage serving all of South Central Wisconsin, and the commission is negotiable. Silver Compass will explain exactly what they're going to do to help you buy or sell a home, how that will help you reach your goals, and stand right beside you every step of the way. They want to be your broker, your expert, even when you're not in the middle of a transaction. Silver Compass Realty, helping you find your way home. Contact them today at silvercompassrealty.com or call 608-361-8608. Silver Compass Realty, helping you find your way home. Welcome back to the Three People Show, episode 35. We're talking about our first topic tonight, which is what politics are of interest to those in college or those possibly approaching college age. What are the issues that are important to them? What can we talk to them about as libertarians? But I suppose if you're out there and you're a Democrat or Republican, this would be instructive to you too. And what we left with before the break was talking about, do college kids think about the possibility of being drafted? It's remote at this point, but if they're certainly the way that Democrats and Republicans, and maybe especially our president and those around him now, get excited about the potential of military conflict around the world. I mean, he even talked about, this sort of went unnoticed, I mean, it was sort of noticed, but talked about the possibility of military conflict in Venezuela. I don't know why. I don't remember why. But President Trump is happy to send people to go fight and die anywhere. If he's not sensitive, I don't think, to the sacrifices that are offered by those who are willing to serve in the military and those that do serve in the military. It doesn't seem like it to me. And I know that there are people in the Libertarian Party, some very, very well-known libertarians, including one Walter Block, who said we should vote for Trump because there's a pretty good chance he's going to be a pacifist or a non-interventionist, rather, and that might be worth voting for him rather than voting for Gary Johnson, who is likely to lose. And that way we could affect foreign policy in a very positive way, a very important way. Anti-war is very, very essential. It's a obviously direct corollary of the non-aggression principle. It's also good for trade. There's lots of ways that the anti-war sentiment is important to us. But it's clear that one Donald J. Trump, who owns a mansion and a yacht, is not interested in the human aspect of war, which is really what it's all about. Mm-hmm. But I ask you gentlemen, one of whom is past college age, one of whom is approaching college age. I don't know if you're past college age, Ron. How old are you?
So I'm 29.
Yeah. Well, I was still in college when I was 29, but I was an exception.
Yeah, that's a different story.
They wanted to keep me.
Most military...
I kept paying them, so they wanted to keep me.
Yeah, most military, activity, it takes a little while to get your college degree. So college age for military, 29 is not an unrealistic number.
No. That's not why it took me so long.
Right.
But that's not what this show's about, is why it took me 15 years to get through college.
Right.
On and off. That's just a sum number. That's a round number. But so the draft and the potential of serving in the military, the potential of being forced to serve in the military, the potential of, even if you look at it from a non-individual aspect, the potential of us sending other people to war, other of our fellow Americans to war, to kill other people in other countries, and maybe a little bit less important, but the people that really understand economics really understand that going to war is not good for the economy, that's all false. That's part of the broken window fallacy.
Absolutely.
It's very easy to explain. Again, not the subject of this show, but war does not create wealth. War destroys wealth. War destroys things and people that create wealth. Mm-hmm. It's silly to think that that's all artificial smoke and mirrors, just as if cleaning up a mess was creating wealth, and it's not.
No.
But when you were younger, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, coming through high school, getting ready to decide what you're going to do with your life, were you thinking about in terms of the political realm of whether you might get drafted, whether some of your friends might have to go serve, whether you might go serve? You did. And I asked the same question to you, Samuel. Is there any sense among your classmates in high school that are they nervous about that at all, or aware that that's the possibility that might happen?
I think that the draft is not something, since it hasn't been used since Vietnam, it's not something that's really in the front of everybody's mind. I think right now, especially people approaching the age of 18, I think the military is more seen as something where you can join and be patriotic, because there are still a lot of people who consider going into the military as something really noble, and like, I'm going to go fight for my country, I'm going to go save civilians' lives, and that's something super patriotic, which may or may not be how you look at it. But it's also kind of seen as a way, especially kind of tying back in with the student debt thing, as a way of getting your college paid for.
Yeah.
I know of a lot of people who are somewhat considering going into the military for that exact reason. They're like, I can serve 2 or 4 years and be done with it, go on to the rest of my life, get my college either like half paid for or fully paid for, and just go on with the rest of my life. I think people don't really see it as, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just that there's not any real conflict right now, like actual boots on the ground conflict. People don't see it as investing their life as much as just going in and it's like having a job.
Well, here, I got a couple of points on what you said, and thanks for that. Number one, we do have real conflicts going on, and I think that we've been in conflicts for so long. We've been in Afghanistan for so long, like 17 years now or something like that.
How many troops are in Afghanistan right now?
I don't know. How many are there?
I'm not sure. I'm asking.
There's going to be 4,000 more, though, according to Trump, but whatever there is, there's been a lot in the Middle East. And I'm just saying.
There's 4,000 people in Verona, Wisconsin. People don't think of that as, it's not like we're fighting a real war. That's nothing compared to...
Well, it isn't, but to say that there's not stuff going on
I understand.
People are dying and we're killing people. I mean, that's
I
the other
understand.
side of it. We tend to look at it as Americans because we're conditioned to think that our folks are more valuable. Like we think about our own casualties, which is kind of the way we're going to anyway because they're friends and family and fellow citizens or whatever. But the killing on the other side is just as bad too. But the other thing I'll ask you, to your point about getting college paid for, is that means that the military is going to skew very much towards people that are of lower economic status. And that was my experience when I was in the military. Tell me what you think about that, Ron. But it tends to be, there's not kids of means, generally speaking, in the military. There are some. Don't get me wrong, but that incentivizes people that may have a hard time paying for college if they want to go to serve in the military, or people that aren't going to go to college but need some sort of job skill that they might not be able to acquire because they have difficulties in the marketplace, maybe because of their color or because of what part of the country they come from or whatever. The military, in my experience, skewed more heavily towards people of color and poor people, and therefore, those are the people who are going to kill and die and come back wounded and come back sick and depressed and then be subject to our VA system. So you got a lot to answer, Ron.
Yeah.
First of all, the original question about thinking about drafted military service, et cetera, but also what your experience was like.
Speaking from a Army recruiter experience, I have a lot of, for the 3 years that I did it, there's a lot of things that I've learned. Absolutely. To say that money is not a factor when we recruit people for the Army would be a lie. Absolutely. When we talk about when we try to recruit somebody for the Army and we start talking to them about college bonuses, straight up in front, you're going to get a cash bonus, something like that. It's always, a little bit about the money, and which as a individual, as a human being, as an American citizen, you kind of think about that. Like, I thought this was about, serving your country. I thought this was about fighting for what is right. But really, in the end, for a lot of people, it's about paying off college debt. It's about getting that cash bonus to kind of, pay for a car. Who knows? Whatever. It really changes your perspective on what the military is about. Because if somebody joins and the only reason they join is, well, I need to pay off college debt, not really because I wanted to serve my country and do what was quote unquote right, then their motivations for why they joined, why they served, as a college student, as a high school student coming, as a senior in high school, whatever, it really kind of changes who you are. And as a recruiter, you kind of see that. And, as recruiters, your job is, when you're evaluated on how many people you can recruit to join the Army, it doesn't matter what you tell the people. It's your job to get them in the Army. So whatever you got to tell them, you got to tell them. So you kind of have to, I don't know.
You have to do. You're selling. It's a sales
you're
pitch.
selling.
The best parts about the potential of serving in the military, and not the worst parts. So, steering that back towards our subject, and then we only have like a minute or so before our break. Think about the mind of a 19, 20, 21-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
And we originally started framing this question about college students, but anyone coming out of high school.
Mm-hmm.
Their concerns involving the things that being in college might burden them with or affect them, or the opportunities they have there to be politically active. People that aren't in college, why would they be politically active? Some of the things, the answers that we got on Facebook with the question this afternoon, talked about lowering taxes, and you wouldn't normally think of that as a young person sort of thing, but people are more and more aware of the burden of the economy and how we're borrowing, and they look at the debt. We're going to have another debt ceiling debate here soon, or in the process of one. And what is going to happen? They have more and more access to information about the dollar being in trouble. They hear more and more dissent on how the economy is being manipulated by the Fed and by our government and by the international banking system. And they're concerned because they feel like they've been left to hold the bag already. To a certain extent, their parents were. But they're definitely in a position where they're being forced, not so much the youngest of the demographic that we're talking about, but people forced to purchase health insurance because of Obamacare, or they get a penalty. Those sorts of things, they see that as, I'm paying out, I'm disadvantaged, I'm 20 years old, and I can